Hey y'all, Pink Lady here. Welcome back to another episode of Bets on Yourself, Sis. Today's episode is with Amber Sims, who is an entrepreneur. She's the owner and creator of All Things Good Catering, and she's a first time author. So, in this episode, we talk all about technical training versus on the job training. We talk about balancing motherhood and entrepreneurship. We talk about authenticity and community support. We talk about her new book and the inspiration behind it. And we talk about the importance of a strong support system and having accountability. So, y'all, Amber is my sister cousin. And I try to keep it like strictly professional in the episode, but we get a little giddy at times, so just bear with us. I love her story, and I know you'll get something out of it. So I hope you enjoy. Bet on yourself, sis. Bet on yourself, sis. You've got the goal, confidence and style. Let your power show. And hello, my love. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm so good. I'm so excited to talk to you today. This is going to be a great conversation. Yes. So let's just get right on into it. So I'm going to call you by your real name. I won't, do your nickname this time. I'm going to be a little more professional. Because this is my cousin, y'all. This is my cousin's sister. So
Yeah.
like we look
Hey,
more
y'all.
alike than her actual sister and my actual brother. Like people be
Right.
thinking we related all the time. I mean, related, we are related, but people think we're sisters
Siblings,
specifically
yes.
all the time. So yeah, this is my sister cousin, y'all, Amber Sims. So Amber Sims,
Hi.
please tell the people who you are and what you do.
Hi, people. I am again Amber Sims, and I am a entrepreneur, Black-owned business.
Mhm.
I am a new author.
Mhm.
Excited about that. And I'm just here to get down to the nitty-gritty with my best friend and sister
Yes,
cousin.
yes. We're gonna get down to the nitty-gritty. So we definitely
Yes.
gonna talk about your book. But we'll talk about that later on because first I want to talk about you. You're already an entrepreneur. The book thing is new. And I'm so excited for you to become an author. You've become an
Yeah.
author. You're a published author now, and that's really exciting. So congrats. But
Thank you.
first, before we
Thank
get
you.
to that, we're gonna talk about what you've been doing, All Things Good Catering and everything else, because y'all do a lot over
Everything.
there, right? So talk about that
Everything.
business, talk about how it started, talk about what you do, and definitely talk about how people can book you.
Okay, so my business, All Things Good Catering by Amber Sims. It started, I want to say, I think when COVID came around,
Mhm.
2020, when I was working at Dave& and Buster's. We got that phone call. It was like, don't come back right now.
Shut down.
So, and me being who I am, I've always been into cooking. So I just was like, let me do something different. I don't want to sit around the house and whatnot. So I used some of the COVID money, and I just started Amazon, Amazon. Just asked my brother when we were living together, and like I was always having Amazon packages
Hmm.
outside of something having to do with desserts and food and stuff like that. So, but it started off slow. Of course, all business, y'all know. We started off. I started off slow, just me, and kind of got discouraged a little bit. So I kind of was here and there doing little desserts here and there whenever somebody wanted something. Valentine's Day came around, probably had a couple of customers. But then I turned into doing edibles on top of regular. So I would do the same. If I Valentine's Day come around, I would do chocolate covered strawberries. I would do for someone who didn't want infused and someone who did want infused. So that kind of brought my fan base a little bit up once I turned over to that aspect. And then from there, I transferred onto doing merch, doing apparel. So I started making T-shirts. I started making tumblers. That was a hit when I started doing my tumblers. Um, I started doing just any type of craft. I just started doing it. Because I just felt like I could do more than just cook. I could do more than just food. And with the name All Things Good Catering, catering doesn't just talk about food.
Yep.
it's catering any type of need, you know. So I just kind of felt, and honestly, once I picked this name out, I didn't think I was gonna be as broad as I am now back in 2020 to 2025 to what I've, started out into what I am now. I just didn't think, this name would be fitting,
Yeah.
and it is. And I'm just so, happy that it did, go in that route. So after the desserts and the foods, I moved on to the apparel and the merch. Then I jumped into website designs and flyer designs because back in high school, I went to school for graphic design. So I already had some type of, art in me. My parents, they all type their artists, my sister, my brother. So I knew I had some type of art in me. Um, so I moved on to doing flyers and making landing pages. So I do, and that's also under All Things Good Catering, but it's All Things Good Design.
I hear you. Yes.
So it's just what they say. It's just a business under my business,
Like a
you know.
subset of All
Yes,
Things Good. Yeah.
right. So I do that, and that actually has gotten, and I just started that. I want to say the end of January. I'm sorry, the end of December, somewhere around there, end of 2024. I know I started like, hey, I want to take another step into doing something for All Things Good. And one of my sorority sisters, she put me on to somebody who lives closer in this area to where I'm at on the East Coast. She put me on to one of her friends who needed a website done, who needed, some flyer or something. And so I got to talking to her, and when I tell you, from that moment that she put me connected with her, have made me do more than what I thought I can do when it comes to this design business.
Yes.
Like she has her own business. She has her own magazine. She has her own books, and she's an author as well. And so I've become her what's the word? Because I collab with her. So
Okay.
like design, I can't think of it. Oh my goodness. Um, content, like I'm her content creator
Okay.
type or whatever, And so and we collab together, and she's put me in positions to where other people are coming to her and was like, "Who did that for you? Who designed that for you? That's
Nice.
beautiful. That's this." And then now she's sending me them, sending them to me and all this other stuff. So like I've gotten more clientele quicker than I thought I would.
Yeah.
Like I didn't have when I was doing the All Things Good catering, food and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that just kind of, it was a blessing. It was a blessing in disguise. Like it came like that, and I'm happy. Moving forward, because of course, some people think that if you have one business and then you're like, okay, well, I know I can do this too. And then I have this idea. So then you jump to do this one, and then this one's not successful. So then now you're jumping to this one, and then you're jumping to this one. And I kind of felt I was doing it at one point too. But then I kind of feel it's also, it intertwines
Mm-hmm.
because um, if, if someone has an event that they need me to do a flyer for, and then they're looking and saying, you know what, I need a catering person for this. I'm right here. I'm your girl. So it's just kind of all together. It's not one thing here, one thing here, one thing here, one thing here. So that was just another thing that kind of kept me abreast to think that even though I feel I am doing a lot, it's all still together in my allotments. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then then that brought me into my latest adventures of writing books. So I guess that kind of all how I started All Things Good Catering by Amber Sims.
Yes, 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 yes.
I
I
know I talked a lot.
love.
Sorry.
No, no, no. I love a lot of the things. I love a lot of the things that you said, and we're definitely going to go more into these things. But before we do, tell people how they can book you, how they can get in
Oh
touch
yes,
with you.
yes, yes, yes. I'm sorry. So I'm actually revamping my website and everything now. But I do have Instagram and Facebook. My Facebook is my name, Amber Janae, and then my Instagram is All Things Good One. But I mean, I can we can have that written it down somewhere so I can actually put it out there a little bit better. But my Instagram as well, my regular Instagram is Janae117, so all that is linked from my Instagram to my business page, and also just if you see, if anything, because I'm kind of like I'm a freelancer. So if someone says, "Oh, I want this done," and I don't do that in a sense of it's on my website or something, I'm gonna do it. Because
Okay.
if you want something done, instead of you going to somebody else and say, "Okay, well, she don't do that here, but let me ask her," and she may, and guess what? Was it YouTube University? They tell you how to do everything, and within a quick second, I know how
So she's
to
saying
make this and
don't
that.
block your blessing and assume that
Don't
she
block your
don't do it.
blessing.
Just
Okay.
ask.
Exactly.
That's
Like
what
my
she's
friend,
saying.
she asked me if I do the was it the money bouquet. I've
Okay.
never done one of those, never. And I told her, I said no, but I could learn. And guess what? My mother's birthday was not too long ago, and
Mm-hmm.
I did a money bouquet for her, and first time ever, and it came out beautiful.
Yay.
So, and that's just what gets you to the next step
Yeah.
of learning how to do something. If you know how to do it, I'm not gonna say no, I don't. Let me go find somebody else. No, I'm gonna learn how to do it for you. So
I love it. I really like a lot of the things that you said. So let's go back. One of the things, the like reoccurring theme, I guess, that I'm hearing in your story, is that you're kind of you you pivot, right? Like you pivot onto something different, but it's still in the same realm of catering.
yes,
And every time you chose to pivot, right, you number one got more into like what you like to do, right? And then also you had super community support that was like instant when you pivoted, right? So it was like, okay, yeah, I'm absolutely meant to be doing
right,
this shit,
right,
right? Like
right,
it feels good. So that's great. Like I don't think everybody gets to experience that, and I
right.
think that's really cool, right? So I want you to like I want to make sure like you see that and like you appreciate that, cuz that's really cool to me, right? Um Also you talked about like practical education, right? Like for example, you didn't say that you went to school to learn how to cook and bake and all of those things, right? I don't think I
No, no,
missed
no, no.
that. You didn't say
I
that,
didn't say
but you
that. Mm-mm.
did. So maybe you could talk a little bit more about that, right? Like that's you had technical, practical training in that, and that was the first thing you did. So it makes sense to kind of like, build a
Right,
business off of what right? But then you allowed yourself to learn. You allowed yourself to be challenged by your clients and to
yes,
learn new stuff that you maybe might not have learned if you like
yes,
continued on that one path, right? So
absolutely,
that's so cool. That's so cool. And now
absolutely,
look at what you're
100%.
doing. Like it's so far from what you thought like you would be doing, right? But it's still
Yes,
within the same realm and you enjoy it and you're getting clients, more and more clients because of it.
right.
And the last thing I want to talk about is community. Like one thing you always have been good at, and this is because I know you, but like also hearing it in your story, you've always been really good at reaching out to your community. Like, y'all, this is what I'm doing. If y'all know anybody who need it, please send them to me. And that's exactly how we are successful, right? Our
Right.
communities help us get to these higher places, and you're a testament of that. I think that's really, really cool. So,
Yeah.
talk about your technical training in
Okay.
cooking and baking and things like that really quickly, and then if you want to
Okay.
respond to anything I said, and just go from there.
So, pretty much, I mean, because it just what you said kind of all just really intertwines back into. I love to cook. I don't even know what started me out to wanting to cook, but I can remember every Sunday morning I was in the kitchen with my uncle cooking breakfast for the pastor, and
Hmm.
I think that just kind of started my passion on to wanting to cook. So I went
Let me just say
to
this
the
one thing. I'm sorry to cut you off. It's just so funny. It's on my mind right now. How I remember we used to go. You brought up church, and before you were cooking in church, I remember we used to go to Carmen's, the little grocery store that was right by the church, right? And we used to always get sandwiches. And I remember Amber used to get like onions and all these crazy banana peppers and shit, all this crazy stuff on her sandwiches, right? And as a kid, we like, yo, how are you eating this stuff? But now as an adult, I just realized like your palate was always way more mature because now I love onions on like tacos,
yeah,
on burgers, and things like that. Like now I get it,
right,
right? But back then it was like, nah, you just weird.
right, and
But your palate was just a lot more mature,
but
always.
and then me, I didn't didn't get that. Okay, well, that's what it was. I just was like, okay, it's good to me.
Right.
It tastes good. But until now, once I've learned, when I went to culinary school and stuff like that, I know, like you say, my palate wasn't where it is
A
now
kid's
and stuff
wear,
like that.
like, yeah,
Right,
like,
where a kid is, where my daughters are, and
yeah.
whatnot. But I went to the military, and I was cooking in the military, so that kind of started me on more into going to culinary school, because even though in the military they give you a brief of culinary, if you don't know culinary stuff like that, that's your job. So once I got out and I was active duty full time, I went to school, and I was going to, I think I went to Arts Institute in Kansas City. And that started my journey of, this is what I want to do. This is it.
Yeah.
This is me. But of course, back in, what was that, 2012 or something like that to 2025, of course my passion from what I wanted to do then as far as food changed, because I wanted a restaurant, I wanted a business. But then I remember I was taking a menu and planning class, and I was like, ooh, this is a lot of work. Let me go back. Let me backtrack and let me do a food truck. That's easier. Then I was like, ooh, this is a lot of work too. Let me, I don't know if I can do that. And I said, well, let me, I can do a storefront, or this and that, So I just kind of went from, you know, this is what I want, but I'm like, okay, this is a lot of work. So this is what I want. Nope, this is a lot of work. To now, where I still want those things, but I know how much work and what I have to put out to get to what I want. Because like you said before, of when you said, I never, if I didn't take those steps, I wouldn't be where I'm at as far as doing the making t-shirts and stuff like that. Because like I said, if I never got out of active duty from the military, I think I would still be on the path of cooking. And I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't, be making t-shirts and
Mm-hmm.
doing all this other stuff, web design. I would still be in the military cooking, doing
Mm-hmm.
whatever my job and stuff like that. Yeah, I'll probably, do a little part-time stuff, but I don't think I would be on this path of entrepreneurship where I'm at now.
Yeah.
Because of course the military takes a lot of your time, especially in active duty, depending on where you are. So thank God for the steps I took when I did get out of the military and whatnot, because it led me to be successful as I am now. So that was just my little screw of, I did, went to culinary school while I was in the military. Then I got out the military. I didn't finish culinary school then. I had a lot of little setbacks. Um, I went online for a while. Who goes to culinary school online? Who does that? But but I was doing online. Then online wasn't for me, so I stopped. Then in 2019, was it? Yes, 2019 is when I put it into it, and I went. I did my associate's 2 years, and I graduated in 2019 with my culinary degree, and that stepped me further to where I'm at now, as well as in this business, because like you said, with the community, is I still have that community base where I can go to where I went Eastwood College, and if I needed something, or they needed something, I still have that. And as far as like online, and especially with the military too, I have military friends who are still here, that they connect me, and they
Yeah.
help me out, and it's not stagnant, where
Right.
I feel like I may be stagnant because I'm moving from here to here to here to here to here. But here I have maybe 5 or 10 clients who are committed. Here I have 5 or 10 clients. I have, and then at one point, these little clients that I have that are just, wanted for the food, they may need something as far as a flyer. Oh, guess what? I'm gonna trickle along over here to this side of Amber. So that's why I feel like it's just not stagnant as far as getting here and there when I'm thinking I'm doing too much.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not linear. That's the thing. We got to remember, like, it's not a straight line. The path is
Mhm.
never a straight freaking line from A to B, right? Like,
Right.
never. You
Right.
always got to do some loops and some shits, and there are always setbacks and things, but the important thing is that you keep going or you pivot, right? Like whichever it is, but you keep going, right? You don't let the setbacks just end your
Right.
career, right? You keep going. um I want to talk about a few things. One thing you said, like, you were thinking about doing this one thing, you were thinking about starting a restaurant, but it was too much work, right? But I want to just kind of reframe that, because it's not that it was too much work. It was just like too much work that you didn't want to do, because you are a very hard
Yes.
worker, and you're working hard on what you're doing right now, right? So it's not like it
Right.
was too much work. There's a lot of shit that you're doing right now. So it's not that it
Right.
was too much. This
Yes.
is just my opinion, right? But this is how I frame it. It's just too much work that you did not want to do. And that's how you
Right.
knew it was time to pivot, right? And that's smart. Like, I think that's really smart, because people do that all the time, and they see the bigger picture, right? And they finally
Right.
see, like, okay, I gotta do all of this to do it. And they're like, I don't want to do none of that shit, but they keep going,
Right.
right? Because they're like, maybe like, once I get into it, I want it more, or things like that,
Mhm.
those type of things. And maybe that works out. But I think it's smart to like just look at, like, okay, this is what I need to do. I don't want to do that. Let me pivot and start to do something else. And
Right.
a lot of the times you really will find other things that you're good at, other things that you love, other things that you're passionate about, right? Like, and that matters. That's how you live a like
Yeah. Yeah.
fulfilling life, right? I think
And
so.
they say, I don't know the exact statistics. I always mess up on that word, but they say like within the first year or two, um, some, especially like restaurants, they fail.
Yes, I think it is the first year, because my partner and I, we have been watching, what's the restaurant, Nightmare or something like that. It's
Yes.
with a guy
Or
comes in and
kitchen nightmares.
no, it's something about restaurant, but it's with the guy who, like, he has a bunch of different
Mean guy.
restaurants. Yeah, and he comes in and he like take over for the day or whatever, and he those type of things. And I think he always did say, like, most restaurants close in a year. That feels familiar. So
Yes.
it probably
Yes.
is like a year or whatever, or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, you would do all of that work and put in all that work, and they was in crazy debt, millions of
Yes.
dollars, hundreds of
Yes.
thousands of dollars, and still losing money, but determined to do it their way.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Thank you for saying that, because I think that's a great analogy of like these people, the people that he couldn't help, right? Like the people that were just determined to do it their way no matter what. They staying on that path no matter what, and they losing. Crazy
Right.
losing, right?
And then what's crazy, because I watch those sometimes, the shows, sometimes too, and even after some of the people who were like just so hard headed and didn't want to, do it because, oh, this is my family business, and I started this from the ground, zero, blah blah blah, and
Mhm.
my way, my way, my way. And those who he even did help and they changed, I think they have another one of like, where are they now?
Mm,
And
mhm.
some of those people who gave the hard time, they're still failed. They still ended up closing, because they went back to the way
Mhm.
of, this is what I want,
Mhm.
this is what, so that some
Yeah.
people you come in, you try to help, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, let's pivot. I definitely want to talk to you about, you brought up your babies, your two precious angel girls.
What? What?
Okay, yeah, one precious angel and then the other one.
What?
Nessa
Okay,
is an
well,
angel.
okay.
Okay, sorry y'all. Back to it. So talk about being a mom and an entrepreneur.
Whew.
Yeah, talk about it. Talk about it.
It's hard. It's hard. I'm a girl mom, so I have to worry about getting them situated sometimes when it comes to what they say, your kids are first, some they I
I'm
can't
not
think
a
of the
parent. I
I
don't
know.
know. I ain't got no kids that come
you
first.
know they
Okay.
they say you stupid. They say like pick a job that's like around your kids,
Mm,
because of your kids come first,
mm,
obviously if my oldest has a lot of health issues, so we stay in the hospital, we stay in the doctors and stuff like that. So certain jobs, they don't like the fact that, oh, I have to call out or I have to leave early, or so that's another good thing of me becoming an entrepreneur, because now I don't have to worry about answering to somebody else when it comes to my kids,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But in the same sense, it's like, if I'm putting their needs and everything before my business sometimes, then I ain't gonna have the money to, get
Yeah.
them what they need and
Yeah.
what they want. And I have to tell my youngest all the time, because sometimes she's ungrateful. I'm like, she's like, Mommy, when are you gonna have money? When are you gonna have this? And when are you gonna this? And I'm like, bro, calm down. Like, I work for myself now. I get paid when I get paid from doing this and that and the third. So calm down a little bit. You'll get it when I can. But the good thing about being a girl mom and being an entrepreneur and a baker, and what I do, because these kids be wanting to help me out and be wanting to be in the kitchen and wanting to,
Yeah.
Mommy, can I help you? Or Mommy, can I, and if I'm exhausted, and my oldest, she can use the oven by herself and the stove and stuff like that. I'm like, all right, you know how to read that box. I'm gonna lay down real quick, and you got it,
Make it
and
happen, Captain.
right, and she'll do it with no problem, because she likes to cook too. And the youngest, she just want to do um whatever I do.
Mm-hmm.
So she wanted to be right next to me. So it's a good thing to have them help as well, because it also alleviates a lot of the stress sometimes, that if I have a big order, and I'm just talking in the aspect of the food portion, because they don't help me in the other stuff.
Can't trust them yet with that.
I can't trust them with that. They
Gotcha.
gonna have me all, stuff all over. Oh, how they want it, and I think this look.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'll let y'all help me with the food, because I see y'all passionate in that as well.
Nice.
So it's a good thing sometimes to have them helping us.
That's nice. I definitely remember those days, helping my mom out. Like, I definitely was her first employee for sure. I definitely remember those days. But they
Yeah,
they they say that that's what happens, right? When excuse me, you're an entrepreneur, your partner or your kids or whatever, they are your first
yep.
employees. They are your biggest fans though, too, right? Usually, like, they're your biggest fans, and
And
that's
sometimes they
why
be your biggest haters
they be
too.
your biggest haters and your biggest critics. But you need that sometimes. We
Yes,
need to
yes,
first, as entrepreneurs, we can get big heads and heavy egos and shit, right? So sometimes we need to be brought down a little bit, brought down a
yes, yes,
peg, right? But, and then we also need like that criticism. We know that they're going to be honest, right? We know that they have our best interest at heart, and they not just hating to hate. They actually being like, no, you need to get that together, because other people not
right,
going to like
right.
that, right? So
Exactly.
yeah, it's lovely to have that support sometimes. That's really nice.
Absolutely.
Hey y'all, Pink Lady here. I'm a podcast producer, director, coach, and host. And I want to tell you all about my production company, Pink Lady Productions. We collaborate with creatives like you who are driven to share your message by launching your podcast from A to Z and coaching you through the process. To learn more about our services, check out our website at pinkladyprod.com. That's PINKLADYPROD.com. Hey y'all, Pink Lady here. I'm the host of Bet on Yourself, Sis, and I am coming to you humbly to ask you to rate the podcast on Spotify and review it on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen. You know, the algorithms, they love attention, right? They love ratings and reviews. So the more a podcast has, the more it will be suggested by the apps. So help me and Bet on Yourself, Sis, reach more Black women entrepreneurs by rating and reviewing it today. So we've talked a lot today about being an entrepreneur, being a mom and an entrepreneur, about, how you got started. But what I want to know is, what does being an entrepreneur mean to you?
To me, being an entrepreneur is taking risks that others don't take to start a business. It's also learning from your failures and building a network of support. So I know we talked a little bit about once I started. back in 2020, and then I stopped, and just kind of felt like I failed myself. I didn't go on to being where I think I could have been if I continued. Like I said, I started back the full-time job. And then when I say building a network of support, how we both said that from one catering spot, I have a bunch of, people, and then I go to the clothing, and those people is coming over here to support me in this aspect and everything. So it's just not just starting something just to start it, but when you have that community or your family and whatnot that is going to support you, it makes it easier. It makes you feel a little bit, feel more comforting that you're just not doing this just because.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. When you're serving your community, it's like, yeah, these are the reasons why I'm doing it. So it makes it that much easier
Right,
to start and to continue, right? Because
right.
starting is sometimes the easy part, but continuing through the setbacks and all that stuff, right, that usually is the
Right,
harder part.
exactly, exactly.
So yeah. I also want to point out, I think in building your network, it's really important to be authentic, right? Like it's important to show up as yourself
Right.
and to show up, um, how you would want people to show up for you, right? So can you talk a little bit about, like, I that is one of the main I guess values of, me and my business and of this
Yeah,
podcast, and of, how I operate in general. It's just like trying to be as much as of me as I can
right.
be, and being my authentic self. So you want to talk a little bit about that?
I feel in order for me to grow in my business and supporting other people, I have to show that same. Somebody else has a small business and everything. I'm not just gonna say, "Hey, buy from me," and then I'm not gonna buy from you, because that's how I am, regardless of anything. Not even my business. If I know, and as bad as it may sound, like sometimes I do have to step back and say, well, you ain't never supported me. I'm always supporting you. Mm, let me rethink this. But then in the same sense, I'm like, but that's not me. That's not my heart. I have a really big heart,
Yeah.
and that goes, like you say, with being your authentic self and being yourself. Like as bad as I can talk all that junk, that's I'm not. I'm going to support whoever. I'm going to do my due diligence, because in the long run, something gonna come back to me on my business, a blessing and everything. And I'm gonna look back to that day and be like, that's why.
Yep. And thinking that's just thinking about karma, right? Like just putting that good energy out into the
Mhm.
world so that
Mhm.
you can receive it back. I absolutely believe that it is like cyclical. It goes
Yeah.
around. What goes
Right.
around comes around, like they say, right? Like what you're putting out is absolutely going to come back to you tenfold. So yeah, I love that you said that. Okay, let's get into the book. We've been waiting long enough. Let's talk about it. First I want to know what inspired the book. You talked a
Okay.
little bit about your client who was writing the book. Um, but like for you, what
Okay.
inspired you to be like, okay, I'm gonna sit down and write this book? Talk a little bit about the writing process,
Okay.
and how can people buy? Of
Okay.
course.
So, for the longest, I have been dealing with a lot of inside stuff, a lot of personal back into, in the military and everything. So going from the military, coming back to Jersey, I've had a bunch of miscarriages, I can say. And, I've had good days, bad days, dealing with all those different, miscarriages. And before I had my youngest kid now, and so I've been dealing with a lot of secret, I guess not. I don't want to say depression, but just a lot of lost within myself because of whatever reasons I've been having these miscarriages and everything. So just not too long ago, I've endured another miscarriage, and I felt that if I can still continue to live on after having so much obstacles, someone else can do the same. And so I had a story to tell. And for the longest, I kind of just let it go, just let it go. Even before this last miscarriage, I've had a story to tell, but I've let it go. But then something just kept coming, just kept pulling me back and was like, no, Amber, somebody need to hear this. Whatever you got to tell, somebody need to hear this. So this one moment I said, all right, I'm listening to God. All right, I'm gonna put it down, So I just um started writing. Just started, little stuff here and there months ago, just stuff, whatever. Then, like I said, when the one lady that I had met, that one of my friends put me in connection with, I seen she's an author, and I seen she just recently had, put out a book not too long ago and everything. So I just got to talking to her, and I said, I've been wanting to write a book for a while, but I just never really sat down and just kind of put it together. I have some pieces here and there that I've just been writing, some ideas and stuff. Um, but I just never took it serious. She took me serious.
Yeah.
You know, she's seen in me what I wasn't really seeing too much in myself. And she brought it out of me. And she, was like, okay, well, let's do it. How you gonna start it? What you gonna do? Boom, boom, boom. She was giving me the steps to put it into motion more than what I was doing for myself, because I kind of had the steps going. I knew what I wanted to do, but she was giving me the steps as far as, okay, you got this. Now, when you gonna start? When you gonna start writing it down? When you gonna, trying to pushing me? She was pushing me to make it happen. So in the process of that, I just kind of took everything that I was going through with both my kids, with the miscarriages and stuff. And I just was writing. Some days I was just typing away, letting it get away from me. And then it comes to the book cover, which is kind of another, it's extremely dear to my heart, the book cover. Just kind of briefly, like I use Chat GBT to kind of get an idea of what cover would be good for it, and so they were kind of like, I was working, throwing my little ideas and stuff here, and it, came with like flowers, a heart, of blooming out of this and that, it was giving me little ideas. So I went on Canva and I started pulling digital pictures together and put something together, and then I showed my sister, and she said, I love it, but we're gonna make it more personal. And my sister took it and she did her thing and she made it more personal, and we got this book together, and it's called When the Heart Breaks, the Soul Blooms. And it's a journey of motherhood, renewal, and love after loss. So it's not so much just for a mother, but for anybody who's had to endure any type of loss. My focus was really to, bring it to young girls, or, mothers who have had experience, either infant loss, either stillbirth, miscarriages, any type, that you was not able to bring your baby home, and the joys of, moving forward after that. Because whether this your first kid, whether it's just however many, you still got something to live for. I had two more kids that were still here that I had to live for. So after all those miscarriages, of course I wanted to give up, but I had to continue moving on for my girls. And so this book really, helped me to, what they say, the trauma recovery process. Writing this book has helped me to get through that a lot easier. And it's dear to my heart. This is my first, well, this is not my first book that I've I'm okay. I can say this is my first full book, but I've been in a, what's it called, an anthology. I
An-
think it's
Anthology.
right, anthology. I've been a part of that before, and I took a snippet of that and kind of brought it into this book as well, because of what I talked about in that is pretty much kind of the same as in this book. So and you can get the book either from Amazon or Barnes and Nobles. Again, it's called When the Heart Breaks, the Soul Blooms. And it's just it's just speaking of my life from beginning to now. So if you think you knew me, reading this book, you really gonna understand. You really gonna, because I had a friend. He even said this to me. He said, "So when I read your book, is it gonna tell me what I already know?" I said, "No." I said, "No, it's not,"
About to
because
learn something new.
exactly. Like my aunt read the book and she called me and she called me crying.
Mm,
I said no. I said don't, because then you're gonna have me start crying. But she said because she wanted more.
mm,
So what and I guess reading like the back cover and the synopsis of it, she said she wanted more. She was like, "Dad, that's it. I know it's a lot more. Come on, you got to give me something else." So, and I told her, I said, "Stay tuned, part two."
right. That's it for now. A book 2 is in the work. Like I don't even know. Like
Okay, okay,
yeah.
because God
Beautiful.
not through with me yet. All right. And I
Beautiful.
definitely got some more, and so like I said, it's not just for someone who has endured physically, but it could be for the dads, it could be for um your sisters, the aunts and uncles, anybody who has endured any type of loss, and blooming after that, because it's more to it than just what you've been through.
Absolutely, absolutely. Talk about the title for a minute. I
Okay.
mean, you kind of pretty much explained what it means, right? Like after such loss,
Hmm.
after such deep loss, there is life, there is joy, all of that. But just why did you pick the title in these words, these specific words? I love it. But yeah, just talk more about that.
So, like I said, and I've endured 5 miscarriages in a span of 30, well, I want to say 34 years because I'm 34, but from what 18 to 34, I've experienced 5 miscarriages, and um I still had to, like I said, I still had to move on from, after I've never forgotten them. I've experienced not even miscarriages, but I experienced infant lost. So,
Mm,
and I've moved, so like I said, when the heart breaks, my heart broke all those times, the soul
mm,
blooms, because it's still something beautiful out of something bad. So like with the cover, we have on the cover, it's a heart. Inside the heart is an outline of like a sonogram, and then it's turning into flowers. So like the heart is not complete because the heart breaks, and then like I said, it's blooming up into flowers. So that just kind of, all turned in together into one, to kind of bring my vision
yes.
together.
Yes, beautiful. And the drawing that your sister did is beautiful, and the story, I can't wait to read it. Yeah, I gotta get myself in the right mindset to read it. I already know, but I'm
Yeah.
definitely gonna read it. Gonna support you in any way I can. Absolutely. And we will definitely drop the links in the show
Yes.
notes. Don't worry. Like, who knows what you're gonna get out of reading the book, right? So
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
Is there anything that we missed? Anything that um maybe, like we touched on but didn't go deeper into that you wanted to, or any topics that we didn't talk about at all that you wanted to?
Nah, not that I can think of. I mean, just like you saying, look out for some more in the works. I got some little children's books in the works that's
Stay tuned.
aligning.
Yes.
I just kind of this, I guess, this point in my life, I want to what's the word? Not appease, but I want to um maybe attract or something, the
Okay.
type of audience is, the young ladies who are, maybe struggling with, pregnancy and stuff like that. So the next couple months, couple weeks and stuff like that, I have a lot of projects that are going to be focused on, you know mental health and women and pregnancies and
I
losses,
love
and
it.
stuff like that. So just stay tuned on some stuff like that. I got a lot of stuff in the works, and I'm excited and I can't wait because it's something
Yes.
new that, like I said, God not through with me yet, and it's a lot of stuff in the works for me.
Yes, I love that. I love that for you. What she said is stay tuned because she got shit
Stay,
coming. Okay, okay.
okay, period.
um. All right, there are just a few more things that I want to touch on before I
Okay,
let you go. Um, when you were talking about your client who pretty much became like a mentor, um I love those type of people who want to see you win just as
hmm,
much as you do, or just as much they want to see themselves as they want to see themselves win, right? Like
right.
they don't see it as a difference. It's just like we all gonna win together, right?
Yes,
Like
yes.
instead of those people who are gatekeeping those type of things, she was like, oh, you want to write a book? Oh, I got you.
Yep,
Like
yep.
these are the things you need, and I'm going to help you stay accountable, right? I'm going to help you
Yes,
stay on track, right? And we
yes.
all could use accountability buddies every now and then, right? But especially for those goals, those things that
Yeah.
really mean something to us, it means that much more. So I don't know if you want to shout her out, but I just felt like shout out to her because that's an amazing thing that she
Absolutely.
did.
Dr. G, Dr. Shayna G, or, that's my girl.
Dr. Shayna G.
Unmasking motivations. That's my girl. She definitely 100% has been keeping me accountable. And even when I think she come right back with it. Talk about, you set your date for this. Even when she's talking about her, we focusing on her and her business. She slip in. Did you make sure you got your date for this? You make sure,
Mm.
and I love it. I love it.
Yeah, so grateful for those type of people because they don't have to, like you don't have to show me any other than the normal amount of
Exactly.
kindness, I guess, right? Like I
Right.
feel like you going above and beyond with those
Right.
type of things, and we just
Exactly.
love those type of people. So we want to shout out Dr. You said Shayna
G,
G,
G, yes, ma'am.
Dr.
For
Shayna G.
unmasking motivations.
Unmasking motivations. We will definitely link
Yes,
the
ma'am.
website in the show notes so that y'all can reach out to her if y'all need to. Maybe we can get her on a podcast. That would be really
Yes,
cool.
ma'am. Yes.
But yeah, those are the type of people that we want to absolutely highlight and gravitate towards, because fuck all them gatekeepers. Like we not
Listen,
doing
okay, okay.
that.
Because it's room for all of us to grow. It's room for all of us to get it.
Yes.
Like I said, and I can even backtrack a little bit and talk about my sister with this book cover and everything. And I was telling her, I got some other stuff in the works, and I'm gonna need you. And she was like, no, I don't know how to do this, and this is your time. I said, boo. If I'm shining, you gonna shine. Like if you shining, I'ma shine. That's how we
Yes.
work. Like I'm not holding nothing back. That's
Yes.
why when the book cover, I put illustrator on there, and she was like, "Nah, this your time." I said, "Girl, when they see this cover, they're gonna see Ashana. Okay, like stop playing
Yes.
with me.
We could get it together. Yes. I
All
love that's
right,
the energy. You already know that's the type of time I'm on. So yes.
really."
Love it. Love it. Love it.